everybody. We've made progress with our nails this weekend. Check those babies out. Much better. Sorry guys, I think my lens is a little dirty. So a lot of people have been complaining about the nails on my big girl. We made progress. We've made some significant progress. She's happier. Much happier not having those claws everywhere. Here's my Cane Corso Rain. What's going on, buddy? You can't get enough of sniffing my Rottweiler's bottom. It's Sunday afternoon. I usually stream Sunday mornings, but today we had a busy morning, so we were just streaming a little bit this afternoon, which I'll see. So I put up a video this morning about correcting Storm on some of her behaviors, and I've already got a lot of feedback from the audience, and so I don't know if those people are still around or not, but I'm giving you guys an opportunity to talk to the terrible owner that you're referring to. So if you're one of those people that are saying that I'm correcting her wrong, now's a good time to help me out. So you guys got some expert knowledge or even just some general experience you want to share to help us out, we're all ears. So come on in. We can have a quick discussion. Reese Puffs. Gotta have that yummy dog. Yeah, that's so. The thing about my channel is I do a lot of videos, just a lot of times for the how you doing, just for the fun and for the shock value of it. And people misinterpret it sometimes, so I'm not trying to mislead everybody, but I am open to any suggestions. I'm not an expert, I do my best that I can, but I like doing live shows because people have an opportunity to come on and say, hey man, you should do it this way, you should try this way. And I'm generally pretty open about trying new things and learning from the audience. I think every non-professional dog owner should get as much information as you can. You never want to turn down good information. There's a lot of people that have been working with dogs for a long time and have a wealth of information. It's never a good idea to turn down good information. So I definitely open up for all the people that think that I'm incorrectly correcting my dogs or correcting my Rottweiler. Now's a good opportunity to come on and help us out. And I think the more that I learn, the more I share, the more we all can learn. So come on in, let me know. Because at the end of the day, we want happy dogs. We want well-behaved. We want happy, not oppressed and not hurt dogs. I do feel like a lot of people still tend to not understand bigger dogs, and I think there's some commonalities between the small dogs and the big dogs. I think making sure that you remain alpha, making sure that you that they maintain respect for you as the owner. I think those things are common to whatever size dog you have. But I think when you have bigger dogs, they just seem a lot more, a lot more aggressive because of their size. But I don't know. I don't know that they're any more aggressive. I just think they're just bigger. But if you guys have some other opinions, drop me a line. Let's talk about it. I'm all ears. So my Cane Corso is getting fixed tomorrow, guys. He is getting fixed. So I'm definitely going to be filming when he comes back home and letting you know if that helps out with his behavior, maybe calms him down a little bit, not having so much testosterone flowing through his veins. Maybe even help out with marking. So I'll let you guys know if that was a successful venture or not. But they love to play like this. And I never take it too serious because they're not really biting each other. They tend to do that soft grip, and then like see, even when she bites around his neck, it's now it can turn more serious. So I'll never like just pretend like it'll always be soft and gentle, because if it does turn in the wrong direction, I generally try to step in. So that's been my MO. That's been the way we've been doing it. I mean, so far so good. So here's little Missy, the alpha. Missy the alpha. How you doing, little Missy? She's the leader of the in the dog world. So I'm the leader, obviously, in the human world, and she's the leader in the doggy world. Getting some water, Stormy? Yeah. So I enjoy coming in. I enjoy talking with you guys, and again, learning from you guys. I hope you guys got a chance to see a little bit of my guest on my last stream. We streamed on Friday, and Ozzy the Cane Corso came on, and it wasn't as great in terms of the streaming quality. We had a lot of skips, and so it kind of took a chunk of our show away. But I thought it was a great collab. It was fun to see Ozzy, the 150-pound Cane Corso. Rain is 130 pounds, so he hasn't quite reached that size, and I don't know if he'll ever be that size. But it was really cool to have them on last Friday. So if you do have get a chance to go by and see some clips of maybe what happened on Friday and watch the collab, I thought it was good. It was real good. So it's up on my page. It does skip a little bit because we've lost a little bit of buffer, but for the most part, I think it was still a decent show. Yeah. So yeah, I've already got like 7 or 8 negative comments on my last short. So if you could tell me what you guys think is wrong with my correcting Storm, because this is Storm, my Rottweiler. One person made the comment, says, "Hey, if you really were correcting her, she'd have never done it again. She wouldn't be doing it again." I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how to necessarily make my Rottweiler never be herself again, but I mean, if there's more techniques, I'm open. But she's been that. The reason why I put up the video is because I wanted people to kind of see how she was as a puppy, like just her and her brother was not like that. I mean, he was never that kind of temperament. He never had the kind of like, I want to be first in everything. I want to be alpha. He was kind of like, I'll hold my own, but he was never like, I've got to have that top spot, where she has always had that mentality. And so, I didn't kick her. Like on the video, you can see me I was holding the camera. So I tried to separate the two with my foot. So I wasn't kicking her around or anything like that. But I was trying to break up the interaction. But she just came right back after, but she calmed down. I think her brother was a little more vocal at the end of that video. But the point of it was I was trying to interact, even when she was a puppy, to try to say, hey, look, you know, be sweet, be kind, keep sweet, keep sweet, Rottweiler, you know. But throughout the years of trying to correct her behavior, um, you just realize that maybe that's just who she is. And if you can just manage, you know, so that she doesn't hurt herself or hurt somebody else, maybe that's the best we can get out of that situation. But, you know, like I said, there's these dog experts out here. I mean, I know there's probably someone right now that are experts that have had a lot of experience, particularly with Rottweilers. I mean, this is my first time ever owning a Rottweiler. So there's obviously going to be a learning curve with any dog. You know, there's going to be a learning curve on, and some of it's, you know, personal. Some of it's just like, hey, this is how my dog, you know, maybe you've got general ideas on particular breed, but maybe your dog in particular has her own or his own quirks that you have to work through. So, oh, little Missy girl, oh, look at you. She's like, I'm taking a little relax on the couch. Yeah. But yeah, if there's any of those dog experts on here that's seen the video and has some good tips, you know, jump in, man. Let us hear them. You know, I think a lot of people just have this mentality where I'm just gonna say some negative things and then be keyboard warriors or whatever you call them. Say something and then run off and never really try to help anybody out. They're just like, look at me, I can tell this guy is wrong, you know, and we're never offering any true anything to help anybody out. And that's fine too. You know what? If you just want to come on and say I'm wrong, cool. I'll take it. But I think if you're really concerned and you really have information to help somebody, I think you should put it out there. You know, I tend to try to spend as much time as I can just kind of, ooh, there's that slobber. Oh, boy, that boy got some slobber on you. But I try to spend a little time on my channel just saying, hey, look, these are some things that my wife and I try to do to make sure our dogs stay healthy, make sure that they stay out of trouble. So we are trying our best to, you know, give some positive information to help people out. You know, I try not to make it all about the negative, you know, don't do this, don't do this, don't do that. You know, there's a lot of don'ts, but has anyone considered saying, here's some do's? You know? And I've had some dog experts, you know, make some comments on my videos, and I've had some people make some very condescending type comments where they're just, you know, they'll say something condescending to me, like, you're stupid, you need to do this, you know. And so I end up saying, okay, hold on. First of all, this is my station. You don't get to just be condescending because you are some dog expert. You know, you treat people like humans. If I'm doing something wrong, so you say, hey man, I think you can do better by doing blah, blah, blah. But you don't just come up and just be like disrespectful. And I've had one guy, he was like, well, I gotta be disrespectful or else you won't listen. Well, you don't know. How do you know about what I will listen? You must not spend much time on my channel, because I don't typically take the attitude. You know, I don't take the attitude of, you know, unless you're disrespectful, I tune you out. Now, thanks, I appreciate it. G Human says, nice dogs, appreciate you. Now, I will say this, though. I think the bigger the channel gets, the more people get involved. It is harder to look at all the comments. And so maybe there is this idea that if I don't say anything disrespectful to the person that's on the channel, then they won't pay attention. And maybe that's the whole rationale for trying to come across being disrespectful while simultaneously trying to offer advice. You know, but I just assume, just like, look, man, don't skip the disrespect. You know, even the comments on the video that I just put up, you know, another terrible owner. Okay, are you just trying to get attention? Or are you trying to show everybody how smart you are by saying how wrong we are? What's your goal? My goal is to show off the dogs, show how we help keep them healthy, share how we feed our dogs, how we take care of our dogs. You know, that's my goal. What's your goal? Attention? Oh, you want attention. You just want to say, that guy's not a good owner. Okay, that guy's not a good owner. Thanks for your opinion. Nobody asked for it, but thanks. But yeah, so but the point of that video was to kind of show where we started with her and how it's going. You guys have Rottweilers? You guys have big dogs? We've got quite a few people on the stream. What you guys got? I'd be particularly interested in hearing if anyone has a Rottweiler, and seeing the video I was referring to, the one I just posted this morning. Um, if if you have a Rottweiler and you saw that video, what would you have done differently to correct Storm? You know, how would you have corrected her as a puppy, and how would you have corrected her as an adult? Or how would you have corrected her as a puppy where she would have been just a sweet, laid back dog as an adult? What do you guys do? Is my big girl. This is my big girl. Now guys, I've been talking about her nails, and so have everyone else. They're like, "What kind of claws you got growing on your dog?" She is not the greatest when it comes to nails. She will barely let me. And the last time I tried to cut her nails, I decided to just muzzle her just in case. I was like, man, I'm not trying to get uh, bit by my dog. I don't think she would have, but I was being super cautious, and she really didn't. Um, and then the most recent time that I did her nails, it was I think yesterday. I cut them yesterday. Um, she was fine. She didn't try to bite me or anything. She growled a little bit, but she wasn't. She didn't try to bite me. So we got. I'm pretty sure we're at least halfway there. We're just gonna keep going little bit by little bit until we get it. And I'm just using like the clippers, the regular dog nail clippers. I'm not using the Dremel and all that stuff. Mr. 100 rupees, what's up with those nails? I know, that's what I was talking about, man. You see how long they are? And this is me clipping them yesterday. This is me clipping them. So she let me get at least that far. And I know when they get too long, their wick, is it called wick? I think, right? It's called wick. It starts to grow very far down the nail, so you got to be careful when they've been long for a while, because you don't want to. It's called a quick, right? It's called a quick. You don't want to cut the quick. So I'm just trying to do a little bit on the end, and then a little bit every week until we get it to where we're back to a manageable. But usually, when we go on our walks, as she walk across the asphalt, it kind of cuts her nails just by sheer walking her. How do you cut your dog's nails? Do you use one of like those Dremel tools, or you just do the same thing I do? What's up, little Missy? Yeah, so Chrissy is asking me how old my Rottweiler is. She's 3 years old. She'll be 4 in November. Yay. And she was one of, I think they had 11 in their litter when they had their puppies. And so we got two Rottweilers at the same time, her and her brother. And then unfortunately we lost her brother due to a collar accident, and that's why they don't wear collars right now. So just to be aware, I try to avoid that subject because I'm still trying to get over that. But just to be aware, collars can be dangerous at home if they're like playing around and the collars can get caught on something. So you could end up having a collar accident. And that's what happened to us. Chrissy, I have an 8-month old a Rottweiler. We have 43 kilos. 43 kilos. That's ooh, is that 2.2 times 43? Is that correct? How to do the math on that? So that's about almost 100 pounds, close to 100 pounds. You must be from Europe, Chrissy. Carolyn Bryant, thank you so much, Carolyn. I appreciate you. She said she loves all three of our dogs. Thank you so much. Amy Strower, Rotties are my absolute favorite, and they are big old babies. You know who was a big baby? That guy. That's a big baby right there. He is a big baby, Cane Corso. My Rottweiler is a little spicy, and that's why, again, I just put up a short video today. So if you guys have a chance, go check it out, or go check it out real quick and come back and give me your opinion on it, because this girl has been spicy since she was a puppy. And at the beginning of the video, she's kind of coming at her brother, and I tried to intervene. I'm holding the camera, obviously, but I used my foot to intervene to try to break it up. And she comes right back, and he, tries to get her to calm down. She calms down with me just kind of breaking it up. And then I switch over to when she's as being an adult, and she's just kind of doing the same thing. So, and I correct her even as an adult. And of course, so far I've got a bunch of negative comments. People are really like, that's terrible. Like, what do you mean? Can you, elaborate more? So Amy asks, does she do the Rotty Rumble? Of course she does. This girl here, here, let me show you. Come here. I'm gonna give her a hug for you. Oh, let's see here. I'm gonna change the camera around so you can see us. Come here. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. You hear? You hear what I'm talking about? She does the Rotty Rumble. Like, I don't know, when you give her a hug, she just doesn't really like it, or she just does this whole That is her. She's not a fan of, I guess, people putting arms around her or anything like that. This guy, he'll take a hug in a minute and won't say anything about it. Now we done got to start a rumbling now. Yeah, this guy's a teddy bear. He's a big teddy bear who's I think is struggling with hormonal issues. He says, I'm very hormonal right now, Daddy. I'm hormonal. Help me out. So he is going to the veterinarian in the morning, and he's gonna come back home a new man. He's gonna be a new dude. Yeah, he's a sweetheart. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate you. Amy says that he's gorgeous too. Yeah. The reason why we got him was that he was going to be a big guy, and he's got a good temperament, and he was perfect for a match for her. We felt that she was kind of more aggressive kind of dog and likes to play very, very hard. So we needed a little bit more hardy dog to kind of pair with her. And that was our rationale. And so far, he's been able to handle, her playing rough a lot. But I think in our later stages of, helping our dogs out, or as we're raising our dogs, I think I'm interested more in interacting more with when they are playing rough to kind of reduce that. Because I think that for the most part, it's generally just kind of fun and, play. Then every now and then it kicks up. So 2 streams ago, that's exactly what happened on camera, where it's all fun and games. I'm trying to be calm, to remain calm. They are doing their thing. And then in a split second, then it turns a little more sinister, and she scratches him with those long claws on his face. And I was not happy with that interaction. I was like, you know what, guys? We're not doing that. So we're gonna start working on calming down and not playing as rough. Yeah. But I think a lot of it is so a lot of my videos I ask the question to the audience, is this dominance or is this play? And a lot of times it's like people answer, which I think is correct. I think it's a little bit of both. I think there's a dominance issue, like, hey, who's going to be alpha? And, outside of little Missy, of course, little Missy will always be the alpha alpha. But I think between the two of them, they're kind of trying to establish who's next in the pecking order. And I don't think that it's particularly helping that big boy behind me over there has all has all the testosterone, you know, going through his veins. So that's our one of our ideas is maybe we can help that out by reducing the testosterone load that he's dealing with, and maybe that will kind of calm him down, and maybe they can live in a little bit more better harmony with a little less intense of a play dominance times. So, but I will definitely be filming with you guys. Probably not during the procedure because I'm just gonna drop them off early in the morning and then pick them up that afternoon. So as soon as he recovers, we got to get the vet tell us what we need to do to make sure that didn't have any problems when he gets home. But definitely, if his behavior starts changing, I'll let you guys know. And I'll be doing live again too, so that we can kind of keep up with how they're both doing. Come here, big boy. Come here. Okay, little Missy, you gonna come over? Come say hello? Hey, Missy. So this little dog here, she is 12 years old, and she is our alpha. She has been an absolute wonderful companion for us from day one. Has been a great dog, fairly easy to train, and she has always been the kind of dog where you want to do all the tricks and stuff like that with, and the set, the rollover, and the spin, all those things. She was really easy to be trained for those things. So, very good dog, very housebroken, but also very dominant too. Very dominant dog, but just very sweet. When we got her, she reminded us of Rottweiler just by her markings on her face. So she was like a little bitty miniature Rottweiler. And then of course we had to get the big deal, the big Rottweiler. And these two, they were together, just them two, for a while, and they did fine. They're not, they don't hurt each other, and they just live in harmony in the house. I think when we brought the male in, that's when things kind of got shaken up a little bit. So Amy says, my parents had 2 pits and Rotty mix pups and a little beagle. The beagle totally ran the show. Yep, that's exactly what's going on here. Those little dogs, man, they want to assert their authority with good reason. So I have a video. I debated about posting that other video where when the Rottweiler and her brother were puppies, and then she was they're like twice their size, right? Well, not twice their size, probably the same weight, but she was taller than they were, right? And so she would correct them like, hey, y'all be quiet, and that's where she developed her psychological subordinates to her, is because she basically was regulating her since we brought her home as a 3-month-old, 4-month-old puppy, something along those lines. So psychologically, she's been this little small dog has been her alpha from day one, and that's why she respects her. Even though there's this massive size discrepancy, there's a lot of respect because she was there raising her from day one. And we were very intentional how Dozy says, so cute. Thank you, Dozy, Carlo. But we were very intentional in making sure that the Rottweilers respected, our little small Peagle mix, because we felt like, she deserved that respect, and she also knew the ropes of the house. Little Missy she was house trained. She knew exactly what we wanted. So she helped us train the Rottweilers, and that was I think that was a smart move. We were very, like I said, we were very intentional how we introduced and how we made sure that they respected her. So I think they're here watching the neighbors' dogs. Come on. Come here, big boy. I like watching him run. All that skin just flaps everywhere. Flap, 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 flap. So it's still hot, y'all. So they're not as active because of this heat. And the only thing they want to do is go into the shade and drink water. Which is fine by me. I don't really have to be in this hot sun either. But you can see he has got a lot of good muscle. Very, very heavy dog and very durable dog. You know, he's, hey, get over her stuff. Get over her stuff. See, this is talking about where he just cannot stay out of her stuff. You know, he's just fascinated with it. Fascinated, fascinated, fascinated. And she's the type of dog that she doesn't want to give it up. She just don't want to give it up. So if you got a dog that's ready to go and she doesn't want to give it up, you know, sometimes there could be some friction. And I don't mean the good kind of friction. I mean the friction where she's like telling him, nah, bro, you're not getting any of this. You're not getting any of that good stuff. And that can be the source of some problems. So he's got to let them things go, y'all. They're going to be gone tomorrow. If all goes well, which I hope it does. So my dog sitter told me, give me like some tips, and I haven't, and I'm going to address it with my veterinarian in the morning. One of the things that she suggested we do is, since he's getting the surgery to be fixed, to go ahead and have his stomach stapled. So I'm going to try to remember to see if the veterinarian can do the 2 procedures. Go ahead and staple his stomach, because I know, have you guys heard of the stomach? I think some people call it stomach flip, or I'm trying to think of the medical term for it. I can't remember. It's like some sort of, it's like a gastric torsion of some sort. I just don't remember what it was called in dogs, but you know, so a torsion is basically where a bowel or a section of bowel loops on itself, and or even testicles can have a testicular torsion where the testicle twists on itself and then loses blood supply and it causes damage to the organ itself. So what can happen is the dogs can eat, like say they eat a bunch of kibble and drink a bunch of water, so you have this heavy stomach with all this food in it, and they go out inside and they go running, and it sloshes around in their stomach and can actually flip on itself, and then it can cause problems there. Yeah. So Amy, are you talking about the stomach flip thing that I was referring to, particular Danes? Oh yeah. So what is it? What's the medical term for it? I am drawing a blank. I'm not a veterinarian, so I don't know the lingo very well. But I am familiar with vulvuses and torsions and things of the sort. So what is it called in dogs? What does she got? She got a little toy over there. But anyway, so if we can get them both done tomorrow, that'd be great. I could get his stomach stapled, so that way when he does eat a bunch of food, you know, and he comes out and plays, he doesn't flip on him and causes a volvulus or a torsion of his stomach. So if we can do a 2-for-1, that'd be great. We didn't do that with her, and she's already fixed. She's been fixed for a very, very long time. But so her stomach is free floating there still. I think I remember also was watching Dre and Goat. I don't know if you guys know Dre and Ghost, but she has a massive Cane Corso. She's out of Dallas, and I remember one episode she was really, really fussing about her dog playing outside after he had eaten, and so she was complaining about the stomach flip. And I was like, well, stomach flip, what are you talking about? So I went and looked it up, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then our dog sitter starts, talking to us about it too. But I will tell you, that's one of the things with dogs. I felt like there's things that we've kind of learned kind of on the fly. My wife and I did a lot of research before we got the Rottweiler, and before we got our Connie Corso, and I think that was very, very helpful. But even after doing all that research, it felt like things kept coming up as we own the dogs. New things keep coming up, and I'm like, gosh, I wish I had known that beforehand. You know, it would have been nice to have known that up front. Especially like the collar thing I was telling you about, the collar accident. That because we were just under the impression that dogs wear collars. At what point is it dangerous for your dog to wear a collar? you know. Thank you. There it is. Thank you, Amy. It's called gastric dilatation volvulus. Okay, so I almost had it right. I had the volvus part and the gastric part, but the dilatation is the other part of it. Yes. So GDV. So for everyone's not aware, GDV is a real thing in bigger dogs, where they eat a bunch of kibble, dry kibble, then they drink a bunch of water, and it becomes this big slosh, big rock in their stomach. And then they go outside and they run, 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 and then all of a sudden they're sloshing around their stomach. Then it flips on itself, and when it flips, you're cutting off the vascular supply on both ends, and then you have necrosis of the stomach or wherever. So yeah, so that's, like I said, that's something that I didn't know about. I want to say we learned about that last year. I mean, we've had dogs, big dogs, for a couple of years, and I'm like, why haven't we heard about this? The same thing with the collars. I just was not aware that your dog can get caught on something with a collar, and it's just right around their neck, it can twist and choke them out. So, and I'm like, you feel like an idiot when something like that happens, because you're like, I thought I knew, I thought I did the research, and having owned her for so long, and she wore a collar every single day of her life, no problem, no problem. Then all of a sudden we get a big dog, and they have a collar accident and they die. You just feel like trash, and then that's why, like I said, that's why they don't wear collars only time they wear collars is when we're out and about, when I have to use a leash or something like that. But at home, we let them go without collars. I just don't want it to get caught on anything or caught on each other or any of that. Yeah. So just beware if you guys are looking to get big dogs, try your best to learn as much as you possibly can about how to take care of them, to learn about the little weird, quirky things that can happen, because things can happen in an instant. And with her brother, that happened while we were at work. My son was still here in the house, and so he caught a glimpse of what was going on. He ran outside, but it was too late. So and so he called me, and I was like just in tears, absolute tears. And I hate to have to break that news to my wife, and my daughter was at school at the time, but that was, I like I said, I genuinely don't want to talk about it, because I'm still like, it's been 2 years now, I think. Oh no, a year. It's been over a year and a half since it happened, but it still hurts, y'all. It really hurts. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about, because I've had some people on here talk about that they've lost a pet or lost their dog to some either accident or genetic or just anything. So I'm just, you know, if you guys have information to share about things to help us out, you know, share them. So yeah, share that information. Make us all better dog owners. So I'm like I said, I'm kind of looking forward to him getting his procedure tomorrow, because there's a question whether or not it would cause any change, because there's hormones, and there's just behaviors, right? And so when your dogs develop behavior, sometimes those things just you have to work out the behavior aspect. But there's a thought in our family right now that maybe the hormones has a drastic impact on his behavior. So reducing that hormone load can, in fact, those are his man draws that he wears around the house. These this is our solution to him marking around in the house, is these man panties that he puts around him. It's called become the comfy, I guess is how you say it. So we strap that around him to keep him from marking while he's around the house, because it's hard to follow him 24/7. So it's nice where we put that around him, and so when he does try to mark, he doesn't get on our furniture. So Amy says, I lost my best friend Skipper 13 years ago to a brain tumor. Still hurts. He had epilepsy from the tumor. So yeah, you get it, Amy. It hurts. I mean, 13 years, Amy. That is a long time. But they become family, right? I mean, it's like losing a child. It's like losing a child. And we care so much for our dogs. We do so much for them, and for them to have an early death just really just bothers us. That's one of the reasons why I think I try not to be, I've entered a game that involves the entire world, right? By starting on YouTube channel. And so I'll show something on YouTube, and then you get all these negative comments. You're like, ooh, guys, are you understanding who you're talking to? Because, I really do care about my dogs, and I admit I'm not, I'm not perfect. I'm not an expert. So if I make a mistake, I'm willing to learn from that. But I'm not sure I deserve that whole "you're a terrible owner" kind of thing. Because there are some terrible people out there. I'm telling you, there are people who mistreat their dogs, and there are people that do not feed them appropriately, don't let them play or exercise, or lock them up or tie them to trees. They'll go for days. My mom, I was talking to my mom, and she said that one of her had a dog or have a dog, and they went on. I guess they went out of town and tied the dog up and left some water, but didn't leave any food. And they just remembered, I guess, and they called my mom, and my mom's like, "Guys, you can't leave your dog for 2 days with no food." you know, and I know some people are just kind of like not thinking about maybe their dog or whatever, but I'm like, that's inconceivable to me. That's inconceivable. Like our dogs, I mean, they're like one of our top priorities are in our house. That's one of the reasons why we've spent the money to hire someone to come. It's not cheap, guys, and I'm thankful to be in a position to be able to afford that, because if you check the prices of a dog sitter coming twice a day, every day, that's it's expensive. But we felt like we wanted the best outcome for our dogs. And I like the idea of having, because the person that we have that babysits them has actually been working with animals for a while, was a veterinarian technician, works with larger animals, and so she's very, very keen and very, very knowledgeable. So she helps extend our abilities to help care for our dogs. She will let us know, and she texts us like clockwork after every visit, saying this is what they're doing. Did you know that this dog has this? Because one time, I guess he had gotten an ant bite on his foot. She took a picture of that, let us know, and we're like, all right, we're coming home. We're gonna check on it. She's even helped us out whenever he was struggling with his ear. So when we got him from the breeder, he had just had his ears cropped, and so he still had one suture left in there, and it was causing his ears to weep, and it wouldn't close and it wouldn't heal. So she helped us. She put together her little. She had some sort of antiseptic type tea that she would make and help bring it over to help us to clean his ears out. And so we finally was able to. We took him into the vet a couple times, and it turned out to be like whoever did the ear cropping didn't use dissolvable sutures on one side, and so that was what was the cause. But we got it out of him, and now his ears are healed. And of course, now in retrospect, I don't think if we had, and we didn't have an opportunity to step in beforehand, but in retrospect, we probably would have not asked for or tried to intervene before we got his ears cropped like that. But anyway, my point in saying what I was saying is that our dog sitter has been amazing with helping us make sure our dogs are well, attended to while we were at work. And anything that she sees that needs to be changed. So we're not just flippant, unconcerned, uneducated owners that don't deserve dogs. I mean, we're not that kind of people. But again, like I said, when I open up myself up to the internet, you're going to get people making snap judgments based on 5 seconds or 12 seconds, however long the videos are. So Amy says our current pup we rescued from the mother-in-law's brother because she was tied up outside and left to fight off big stray dogs for food. Oh, geez. She's a tiny terrier. She's been happy and healthy with us for 8 years now. Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm talking about. People, for some reason, don't care for their dogs. They get the dog and then just act like it's a toy or act like it's a plant or something. I'm like, no, these are live beings. They're not human, but they are still alive and nonetheless depend upon us to take care of them. Depend on us to treat them with fairness because they can't do for themselves. You know, one thing that we've tried our best to do is, we have a doggy door, which is, y'all, excuse my mess. Everything's dirty right now. My goal is to start cleaning hard, deep cleaning next week. But we have this here because we want them to have access to be able to use the bathroom, to go out to the yard, pee, play, whatever, while we're gone at work or whatever. Our dogs are never necessarily just tied. Now, they may be in the kennel. We do utilize our kennels, okay? So whenever we have people come over and we just don't have time to truly socialize our dogs to people at the moment, they have to go in their kennels. But they don't sleep in the kennels overnight. The dogs aren't always in the kennel. They're not tied down. We try to keep them out and about, letting them have freedom to come pee and poop. And, we feed them twice a day, which may be too much. It may be too much, but I just don't want my dogs to feel like they're starving and try to get into trouble because they don't have enough food or something like that. Water is another big thing. So when you guys watch the channel, you'll see that we always constantly have water available, whether they're in the inside of the house. We have 2 containers inside of the house. And I like doing that because in case, you get busy and you don't notice that one dries up, there's always a second one there. So we will make sure that they have access to 2 different water bottles, and they're like 3 gallons or so, 3 to 4 gallons each. And then as a fail safe, they can come out here and get water from there. And sometimes we keep little containers out there of water. So, they always have access to water, food, and space where they can do their business. And the rest of it is just, making sure that they're vaccinated. They have to go to the vet frequently. They have to have all their shots. They need their heartworm stuff, all those stuff. It's a lot involved with when you properly take care of your dogs, when you actually care about taking care of your dogs, it's a lot. And they depend on you. They depend on you. And then after that, once you've done all that, guess what? They still need baths because they get stanky. This boy right here, boy, that boy be stanking. Woo, boy, you be stinking, don't you? My Cony Corso stinks sometimes, y'all. It's not his fault. That just means that he just need to take a little bath. He's got to take a bath. My Rottweiler, it's funny. She doesn't usually smell. She can go, I'd say, about 2 to 3 weeks, and you just won't smell her. Not like him. I mean, it's almost impossible for him to go 2 weeks without a bath. Well, I'm sure he's gone longer than 2 weeks, but man, he will stink up the house. So we have to make sure that he stays clean, or else no one want to be around him because he's so stinky. And my little bitty dog over there, I mean, she can go a while without taking a bath. And I know it's not recommended that you bathe your dog too much because you can dry out their skin and stuff like that. You can buy all that oatmeal stuff and all those moisturizers and stuff that they have on the counter. But I try not to over bathe them, and cause more harm that way either. So, and And maybe one of the reasons why she doesn't stink as much is she loves water. So we'll sometimes come out and play with a water hose, and she'll get a rinse off, and probably, he doesn't like the water. He'll tolerate it, but he doesn't want to play in the water like she does. But yeah, so those are, and Amy says they're expensive just like human children. Yes, I think in some cases they could be more expensive. They could be more expensive than children. So you guys may remember, or you may not have heard me talk about her getting parvo, but she was about 8 months. I want to say 8 or 9 months, not quite a year, and we had, of course, she was fully vaccinated. Her and her brother both were fully vaccinated at the time for parvo and all the other things, right? Because we keep up with our vaccinations with our dogs. And but we came home one day and she was acting strange, and she'd be pooping a lot, and just like she was not herself. And we were like, "Hey, Paul, how you doing, man?" Paul is awesome, y'all. Hey, next live collab you do with someone you both should be using wired internet PC. Don't use Wi-Fi, cell phone device. It needs to hardwire connect for best. Okay, that's a good thought, Paul. And I think you picked up on. It was a good show though. I think Ozzy and Melly. I think it was a great time. I think we had a great discussion, but we were truly interrupted with Wi-Fi issues, and it really just made a good show not so good. And I could tell because you would have people jump on the stream. It'd go up with numbers, and the next thing you know, it would drop off. And then we start reading the comments. Yeah, thank you, Paul. I appreciate you. Yeah, I thought it was a great show too. It really, like, it sucked that we had so many problems with the internet. And and by myself, I don't think I have, like, I've been streaming for almost an hour now, and I don't know that I've had many issues just by myself. I think the bandwidth increases when you have two people streaming at the same time. So and even when I went back, Paul, and I went and saw the when I uploaded it to the station or the channel, it would skip. An hour show got truncated to about 40 minutes because it kept skipping. I guess, and I don't do the edits for my live streams. There is no editing. You just wait for YouTube to go ahead and load it up for you. And so yeah, it was definitely skipped quite a bit. There's a lot of good information from our discussion that just didn't get posted. So sorry about that. I really was hoping that it would be 100% better than it was, but it was a great show. But it's just no one could see it. So I don't know exactly, Paul. I don't know. So I have Paul, I have a let me see if I can go this real quick. I have a Wi-Fi router outside. Let's see. I think it's right here. So I actually have a Euro here. It's super dirty, but it's outside. So my Wi-Fi is probably not that bad. So I have to see what Melly's got at her house. Maybe she could. So I can't. I don't know if it was only just me or if it was more her. That's kind of what I was alluding to. Was it mainly hers or was it mine? And I know occasionally when I'm way out there in the yard, I think I do start skipping a little bit. But I think for the most part, when I'm streaming at home by myself, I don't think I have very many issues. But anyways, let me get back to my story because I think it's an important point, Paul. So I was just talking about the expense of my dogs and everything that I have to do to make sure we, make it safe for our dogs and things like that. And I was talking about Storm. Her and her brother were vaccinated, but they both got parvo. And the way we found out was she was pooping a lot in the backyard and was not herself. I mean, she was truly just not acting like the Storm that we knew. And she was not eating. Everything was like not. She didn't have the same vigor. She didn't have the same zest that she normally would have. And so, but we know that she was pooping a lot. So we decided, hey, let's go ahead and take her to the veterinarian. And this is like during it was like right at the beginning. Was it the beginning of COVID? I think it was right about the beginning of COVID, because the reason why I say that was when we got to the veterinarian, we had to stay in our car, and so they came out and they said, hey, we'll come see your dog, and we let her know that our dog was pooping a lot, wasn't being herself. And at the time, our male Rottweiler, he was not having any symptoms. He was just kind of along for the ride. And so she's like, all right, we're gonna take a swab and do some samples real quick. And then they went inside and they came back. And when they came back, she was gowned up. The nurse was in full, just complete like mop gear, you know, face shield, and she was like, and my wife, man, she immediately knew what was going on, and she just started bawling. My wife started crying because we knew that it was parvo, and in our mind, we thought there was a death sentence, you know. That changes his behaviors. But so when the nurse came back and she was like, "Let me just go ahead and take your dog," and they wanted to know everywhere that she had pooped at while we were outside in the parking lot waiting, because I guess they had to go and spray to kill the parvo. And we were kind of like, how is that possible that our dogs are fully vaccinated? Why would our dog get parvo? And it was like we were just in disbelief. And so from that moment, they were like, okay, she's gonna need to be hospitalized. And so she was in the hospital for a week and a half. And a couple of days after she was admitted, the male Rottweiler started having the similar symptoms, not as bad, but similar pooping and not looking right. And so we knew that he had gotten it too. And so he was hospitalized a couple days after her. So both of our dogs were inpatient, and it was a day-to-day operation. They would call us, and they would say, hey, they're not eating, or they're on this amount of fluids, their labs are this and then the other. And the other thing that they were telling us was they would give us financial updates, because if you ever had a dog spend the night in the hospital, you realize that the vet bill is not cheap. I mean, medical costs for humans is not cheap, but medical costs for dogs inpatient is not cheap. And so you've got a situation where you've got two dogs inpatient. The bill was racking up and then we were like, hey, you know what? We love our dogs. Whatever the bill is, we're just going to figure it out. And we just kept approving, hey, continue medical treatment, And so finally, the male dog started getting much better, and they had both lost a ton of weight, guys. They told us close to the end of her stay, they said, hey, we can come visit her now. They put us in a room, and they brought Storm in, and guys, I was almost into tears. I was all like, that broke my spirit to see my dog just emaciated, absolutely emaciated. And the part that really hurt me, guys, was, excuse me, I'm sorry, she didn't recognize me. And I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, that dog right there, her and I have been bonded from day one. She chose me as hers, and so when she did not recognize me, that hurt like you would not believe. So my dog was just like emaciated, didn't recognize me, and I was just devastated, y'all. And so we stayed there. We tried to bond as best as I could. I tried to let her know I loved her, and we left, and that took it out of me. But thank goodness they turned the corner, and they both got better. They started holding a little bit of food down, and to the point where they were able to be discharged. They discharged them home with like just a bag full of medicines and like a schedule of all kinds of things. I'm trying to remember what the medicines they had them on, but they were on a bag, and like it was like we had alarm set every like hours. We were doing something like giving them this, squirting something in their throat, giving some nutrition. So it was not a fun time. So here's the positives. The positive things with that was we had pet insurance. Okay, so and we still do. We still keep pet insurance on all of our pets. And I know it's probably a a debatable thing. You're like, oh my God, how much money do you need to spend on your dogs? And I'm like, I know, it gets pretty pricey, but I'm gonna tell you, we were so thankful that we had pet insurance because the pet insurance. I mean, they have deductibles, right? So you always have your deductible. I think their deductibles are like, I don't know. I think it's like $5,000 or something like that, or $2,000 deductible. It's not it's not nothing. There's a good size deductible for the dogs, but their bill was still. I think it ended up being a total of about $30,000 total between the both of them, maybe a little bit over $30,000. So so we maxed out the payout for both the insurance policy on the dogs, and the only thing that kind of really saved us was Merck is the company that provided the vaccines for the dogs. So what we did was, and this is thank goodness for the nurse. The nurse was like, we told her, hey, look, our dogs are vaccinated. We don't know how or why they both got parvo. So she's like, well, if they're vaccinated, what you can do is you can go to the company and let them know, listen, my dogs used your product and it didn't work, and they will help contribute to the cost of the hospital bills. And we were like, oh, thank you so much. So we went into our veterinarian. We got the lot number of the vials and everything because thank goodness they kept record of the bottles that they used to vaccinate our dogs with. And so we filed a claim through, I think it was Merck. I think Merck is the company that made their vaccines, and they contributed $5,000 to the cost of it, and that helped out a lot. So between our insurance policy and the $5,000 that Merck gave us for helping the dogs, we were able to pay their medical bills. And but can you imagine if we didn't have the insurance, or if we hadn't vaccinated our dogs? Can you imagine trying to foot a $30,000? I want to say it was like $32,000 total between both dogs for a week and a half for her, and in a week for our male Cane Corso. It was an expensive bill, guys. It was not cheap, but we were very thankful to have had that. And so I use USAA, and they have a company called Embrace, and so Embrace is who we use for. And I'm not sure that's the best company. I don't work that. I'm not sponsored by anybody yet. I'm not that big. So nothing, if I ever mention any company, guys, don't think that I'm promoting anything. I'm not promoting Merck or Embrace or anybody or USAA. I'm not. I'm just letting you know our circumstances. So that experience was rough. It was rough emotionally because we care for our dogs, and it was a financial thing that we had to kind of eat up if we wanted our dogs to be safe. And I think that truly saved their lives because I think when a dog does get parvo, especially as a puppy, I don't think you have a great chance of survival unless they get because they dehydrate from all the pooping and stuff like that, and they won't eat and they can't keep anything down. They die. So we were fortunate enough to have the dogs be Goosey. Are you saying yummy looking dogs, dude? I'm talking about how much money. I'm talking about how much money and how much care on my dogs. You're talking about eating. Come on, dude. You guys are just killing me. But so I care for my dogs, and that's why it always surprises me. I don't guess it shouldn't surprise me. It should not surprise me. I'll post a video of me. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, and I get so many negative comments from people like just. And I'm like, guys, you don't know how much I care and love my dogs. If you really understood that, I think you wouldn't be so critical. And if you were really concerned about my dogs, I do think that you would offer help. I think you would say, "Hey, man, this is how you should correct your Rottweiler," and I don't mean that in a like. Let me first insult you, and then let me try to give you advice. I've had one guy. He probably was a good guy. I'm sure the guy was a great guy. I'm sure he was good with dogs, but he could not stop insulting me. He couldn't stop it, and he blamed it. He tried to say that it was because he needed to be insulting or else I wouldn't listen to him. And I'm like, dude, you don't know who I am. You don't even come on my live streams. You don't listen to my story with my dogs. You don't see how much effort and time I put in my dogs. You just gonna assume that with that Goosey, I got three, one, two, and then the third one's hiding over there. Let me go show you. He's my Cane Corso. Boom. This is Rain. Rain the Cane Corso. What's up, big boy? You wanna say hi to everybody? Yeah, he said, what's up? Thank you, Paul. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, we do our best, and we're not perfect. We're not perfect in how we do everything with our dogs, but we do love them and we care for them. You know, it just hurts me to see people acting like we're just running some dog operation or some fighting ring. Some people call me Michael Vick, saying, "Oh, you should own dogs." I'm like, dude, come on, dude. Oh, he's not that shy. He's just begging to go into the house because they're some well pampered dogs, right? So they act like they can't be outside more than 10 minutes, and then like, we gotta go inside. Look there, she's begging right now. Let me inside. Tina Garcia says they're gorgeous. Thank you so much. I think that's how you say your name, Tahina or Tina or Tahina. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's just and I gotta be, I try not to be too sensitive, guys, about the comments because I realize that's the game I'm playing, right? You don't get onto the world platform like YouTube and get offended by and I used to be quite offended. I used to be pretty sensitive with what people say because I just thought that they would just kind of see the good, and see that I'm just trying to, show off their rough play and all that good stuff. But you do have to have a little bit of thick skin when it comes to the world platform like YouTube. And some people, I think, are in fact trying to get publicity for their own station, their own channel. So like I was saying, that one guy, I think he was a good guy and probably was good with dogs, but he couldn't stop being disrespectful to me. Like the guy would just he would be like, "You're stupid" or whatever, and you don't know what you're doing, and how can you tell what qualifies you to know if your dog is hurting or not? And I'm like, I mean, I can tell when my dogs are hurting, dude. I've been your papa for a while now. I don't understand why you're questioning whether or not I can tell whether my dog is hurting or not. Now, if you have good advice to share with me, please do. Or do you just want to keep insulting me? And again, like I said, it may have been just him trying to draw attention to his channel, which I get it. I get the game. People are trying to grow their channel and they feel like if they can show that they're much more smarter than I am, maybe people will come, go to their station and give them some subscriptions or whatever. And I'm like, cool, I understand the game, but at the same time, I'm not trying to insult you. Now I did get on to him because I was like, look, apparently you don't know how to be respectful, so I'm gonna have to treat you like I treat my dog. Let me train you for a quick hot minute that this is my station and I have control over it. So I'm I am giving you a privilege. You have a privilege to be talking on my station, but you don't have to have that privilege. I can take that away from you. So either stop being disrespectful and tell me how to help my dogs or help me out, or move along, homie. That was my thoughts. And so I eventually had to give him the boot, guys, because he just was not getting the message. So it sucks that he may have been a good guy, may have good advice, but just he couldn't keep his mouth, couldn't keep his manners. And I try to be respectful, guys. I do. I try my best to be respectful with everybody. I don't ever cuss anybody out. I don't, I do my best to be a good dude because my daughter watches the station. So if she feels like if I feel like she's not going to be proud of me, I'm not going to say it. Goosey, I have a few fishes and could barely take care of them. How can you probably what I do in terms of hiring somebody twice a day to come check on them? We do have some family members within driving distance that can help us out when we go like on a quick vacation or something like that. So we have a little bit of help. And then Willie Wilson, we had a Cane Corso. His name was Kane. Very impressive dog. That's awesome. Yeah, these Cane Corsos, man, or I'm sorry, Connie Corso, so I'm saying it correctly. You said his dog's name is Kane, and that got stuck in my head. But yeah, and Goosey said it's life. Yeah, man, I think you mean like dealing with people on the internet, that's life? Because you got to have some thick skin. These people, they are trying to get attention and or anything to get maybe some likes or comments or whatever. And I mean, like I said, I get the game. I'm not ignorant to the fact that people are trying to draw attention to themselves and they want that attention. But I just try not to be so sensitive about it. But I do care. So that's why I end up getting a little bit emotional about like, hey, why are you calling me a terrible owner? I mean, what did I do? You know? So the video that I'm referring to, I just uploaded today, right? I uploaded this morning. And let me describe the video just in case, because I know there's probably new people in that here. The video was basically me correcting Storm when she was a puppy because she was being a little bit rough with her brother. And so while I'm filming her, I mean, I use my foot to like sweep her away, trying to diffuse the situation. And then, and then she gets back right into the, like, but she's a little calmer after, if you look closely at the video, me doing that actually did break up her behavior. And then I cut to when she's an adult and she's, trying to give him the business. And I point at her and I scold her for biting too much on his neck, so that's the video, right? I'm just basically showing, hey, this is how she was as a puppy and this is how she is as an adult. I'm still correcting her. And oh my God, all these negative comments, these people, you're another terrible owner. What was terrible, guys? What was so bad? I made a few videos and the only person who cared about it was super kind. I get you. I get you, Goosey. Kitty, good to see you. But yeah, man, I'm sure, even as we're live streaming, I'm sure there are comments being generated right now about how terrible, of an owner I am for correcting my Rottweiler. Or no, really they were saying that it was incorrect. They said that's not how you correct a Rottweiler. They don't offer any. Thank you, Kitty. Thank you, Kitty. It's not me, guys. Kitty says hit the like button and subscribe if you like this content. I didn't say it. It was Kitty, guys. Thank you, Kitty. You're always amazing. But, those people, they weren't offering anything other than just criticism, which criticism is good if you're trying to draw attention, but you got my attention. What else are you going to say? Or maybe you're just saying, I don't know how to help you out, but I just want to tell you you're wrong. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but why? Why? I think some people just didn't grow up with good morals. Some people, my mom always told me, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. You know what I mean? If you're trying, unless you're trying to help somebody else, say, hey, this is bad, but let me show you how to fix that. I think the water scared him. I mean, do we just live in a generation now where no one just teaches good manners anymore? Or is it just, again, people... Yo, Rotty got a mini me? Yo, Rottweiler got a mini me? Yeah, oh, you're talking about little Missy. So Webdeader. Sorry, how you say that? Webdeader was talking about little Missy. Got a little mini Rottweiler and then a big Rottweiler. Yeah, I got the whole team right here. This is the whole team. Yeah, I mean, I just like, what's wrong with being just cordial? What's wrong with being respectful? Is it, I mean, why I don't want to get too much into this whole, because yeah, I'm getting older, guys. And I just happen to value people with, thank you, I appreciate you. They're actually wanting to go inside. So they keep circling around the door because they're prima donnas is what they are. And so they can't be outside more than a few minutes before they're like, I want to go inside and lay on the couch where it's cool, Daddy. It's not too bad out here in the shade. But yeah, they're acting desperate, like we need to go inside, watch TV. But yeah, so what is going on with these people? I mean, have they just lost the ability to be cordial, lost the ability to be helpful? They just these people just want to just complain about stuff, offer zero help, but just just whining and calling names. It's like they haven't haven't graduated from elementary school yet. So yeah, no, I do appreciate you for WebData for saying that they look happy, because we do our best to make sure we keep them happy, and like I said, we keep them watered, well fed, and we take them to the vet whenever necessary. I was just talking earlier about how much we had to spend on her and her brother when they got parvo. That was a long adventure, and it took money, it took time, it took a lot of effort, and there was a lot of care even after they were hospitalized for a week and a half. We still had, I think she was on they were both on medication for, I want to say, at least a month after they were discharged from the hospital. So that care just never stops with these dogs. You just never stop caring for them. So, and I think it shows. I think people that don't take care of their dogs, I mean, their dogs, you know, there'd be something wrong with them. You know, they're either emaciated or just, you know, psychologically something's off with them. You know, we do our best to make sure that they stay mentally stimulated, and if they were not happy eating kitty, I think that's a great point, because we this doesn't happen very often, guys, but I'll be honest with you. One day I came home and one of the gates was open on that side over there, and I was like a little bit freaking out, like, because you know they have the doggy door over here, and so they could easily come out of here. This little fence here that we have, this is kind of like a little fenced in area for like if we have somebody here doing some work or something like that, and we're outside sitting on the porch, they'll stay inside this inner gate. But it's not meant to keep them permanently, because they can easily jump over this little like 3 foot gate here, fencing. But we have a bigger fence all the way along the perimeter. So I came home one day, and that side over there, there's a electric gate. It was partially open, and I was like, man, my dogs are in the streets. I know I'm gonna get sued. Somebody done got bit. Something. I was thinking the worst, but I opened the door. Them little boogers are sitting there waiting for me. Daddy, where you at? Where you been? Give me some love. I want some food. Those guys, they don't want to leave this house. These dogs are treated like a king and a queen. They don't want to run away. And so I was like, wifey, what happened? What's going on with the gate? And so she said that she had just gotten home, and I guess, so it's a little button to open up the gate. So I guess it must have triggered on accident when she pulled up into the house. And so the gate was partially open. And, you know, like I said, I was afraid, because, you know, we do have neighbors that walk, you know, the streets. And the last thing I need is my dog to get out. That's the last thing I need, is for my dogs to get into any trouble with any neighbors when they should be locked away. So we try our best, our earnest best, to make sure that they are contained and cannot get away from us. But like Kitty was saying, I don't think they want to get away from us, because they get treated so well here. But I do all the precautionary things. I mean, when we first moved here, like, we built all this, like the shop and the pool, the fence. I mean, when we moved in this place, the only thing here was this house and that tree. So, and we had the 2 Rottweilers from day one. So I went to Lowe's and bought T-posts and cattle panel. And I basically put, you know, T-post there, and I built a little enclosed area with the T-posts, and the cattle panel. I still have it. It's over there leaning against the fence, but it's about 5 feet high. And I made sure, day numero uno, that they had grass and that they could not get away from us, because that all it takes is a second, you know, for something bad to happen. And then it took me a couple months to have to get the bigger fence put in, and it's just a wood and cattle panel fence. So that was like our number one priorities, just so that our dogs were secure. Before we bought any concrete, before we built any pool, before we built any shops, we had a fence put in to keep our dogs from getting into any trouble and having anybody interacting with my dogs. I had one guy made a comment, what's going to happen when somebody's little kid in the neighborhood rolls a ball in your neighborhood, in your backyard? Now what are you going to do? And I'm like, dude, I try my best to make it very well known that our dogs are not going to be able to get out and there shouldn't be any kids. Now, if a ball does get in here, they gonna have to call me. They gonna have, I mean, they'd have to literally jump over my fence or break in order to get their ball because, and at that point, if you're jumping my fence, I think there's a little bit of they can jump that little. No, 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 Mr. Blake. I think you missed where I was talking about, Mr. Blake. This is not my main fence. This little area here is just for whenever we are out here, and if we have somebody doing some work or we don't want them to get to the main, and we're out here physically sitting with them. Like if I close that gate right now, they won't jump it because I'm here and they know that I'm not going to let them jump it. Okay. That's not here for to keep them. The fence that I'm talking about is the one in the far distance. That fence out there. I don't know if you can see that. That's what I'm talking about. That we have almost in the backyard, at least about a half an acre. And that's all enclosed in. And they will not jump that fence. So that's what I mean. Not this little thing here. No, of course not. They can jump this, but this is more for like little Missy when she needs to stay in this area. She can come out here and pee and poop. And then if we're out here with the big dogs, they won't cross over. So yeah, but clearly they could clear that with no problem. If somebody were to get into our backyard and we had this closed and they don't know that person, they could definitely jump over. Mr. Blake is laughing now. Yeah. But yeah, that's all those things, people, and I'm saying these things, but this is all the expense. So just be aware that wasn't cheap to have that, and it's just a wood fence, guys. It's just a wood fence and cattle panel, but that wasn't cheap, guys. All that stuff we had to pay for. So just heads up, make sure you have a fenced area for your dogs so they don't get into trouble. If not, you have to fork up I think that costed me $16,000 for that fence. I think about $16,000. So just be prepared to spend the money to protect your dogs. You gotta protect your dogs. So yeah, that's real life, yo. It's real life. Boy, you're like in my face. Okay, how about we back? I'm back. There we go. Now we can see you better, buddy. Yeah, so this is Rain, my Connie Corso. He's gonna get fixed tomorrow, guys. Those little things are getting ready to go. So, and I think Paul was asking me about maybe freezing some of the sperm, and I didn't get a chance to ask my vet about it, but I'm gonna try to ask them about that in the morning and see if there is something that we could do real quick. I think that would be, if that's something we can get done easily tomorrow, I think I wouldn't mind doing that. So the two things I'm going to ask about tomorrow. First of all, the appointment tomorrow is for sure. He is getting neutered. So he is losing all that extra hormones that's probably driving him crazy. And yes, Kitty, I think that will help with the whole testosterone and the marking and all the stuff like that. I think that'll do wonders for his behavior. At least I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that. But I'm gonna see if we can preserve some sperm for just in case we can, find a way to preserve his genes. That'd be great. And then the second thing is the stomach stapling. That was from our puppy sitter. She says that oftentimes they can do a 2-for-1. They do the neuter and they can staple the stomach. So I will let y'all guys know tomorrow after 5 or 6, I believe, and when I go pick him up. So I'll let you know how that worked out, and if I was able to get any of those other things done or not. But for sure, we're going to go ahead and get him neutered, and hoping that will fix the marking, and hopefully that will kind of also tame him down a little bit with the competition with Storm for dominance. Maybe that will be a little bit better. And also, I'm hoping that we'll have a little bit of a less of a drive for him to be over there, because our neighbor has a German Shepherds, and I don't think that they're fixed. So that may also have an impact on him going over there and causing problems with our neighbor over there. So fingers crossed with that, guys. Fingers crossed that that's going to be a huge positive for us. And he should be fine. I trust the veterinarian that we are going to. We trust that he's good. They're pretty good. But you see how they're begging. They're like, we want to go inside. We want to be in the 72-degree weather inside the house. But yeah. So just another announcement, guys. I am going to try to do a round 2 with Ozzy the Cane Corso again. So if you guys missed last time or came and got frustrated with the streaming, we're going to try to do it again. And I was talking to Paul earlier about maybe trying to work on our Wi-Fi issues. I'm going to try my best to stay closer, and I may just close in the fence if we do it again, and maybe just try to film right next to my Wi-Fi router, which is actually in that corner by the TV over there. So that way we can hopefully have a decent show. And I don't know what Melly can do on her end, but hopefully she can get maybe hardwired into closer to her recording device so that we can do it one more time, and then hopefully this time it'll be better. So what I'll do is, if we can get our internet working situation worked out, I'll go ahead and put an announcement on my page linking you to her page so that you know where to go to find the show. Because I think Paul was mentioned, and I think he's, I don't want to sound arrogant, but I do think it was a good show, and I think it was a good interaction. And I think between the both of us, there was a lot of great tips that were shared. So I will definitely put up something on my page to remind you guys to go to her page to catch the live stream, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this time we don't have any problems. And because I really like I have a wonderful audience. You guys are fantastic. I appreciate all your comments. Y'all have been amazing. Y'all have been very helpful in a lot of situations. So I would like to have that same backing maybe on her station whenever she does it as well. I think that'd be awesome. So like I said, I'll give everyone a heads up, and before we go live, and again, we're not gonna do it so we can get our Wi-Fi situation fixed, because we don't need to have those skipping like we did last time. So, but thank you guys. Oh, Kitty was saying, I wonder what a German Shepherd and a Corso look like. Ooh, I bet there is a example out there somewhere, but we're trying not to let that happen in our case. We don't want that to happen. So, but guys, I am going to get my prima donnas, let them go inside and cool off a little bit. It's not that bad, guys. They're acting like they're dying, but it's not that bad out here. In the shade, I think it's about probably 85, maybe 90 degrees in the shade. So, but they are pretending like I'm mistreating them. So I don't need any more negative comments today, guys. I think I've tapped out with all the negative comments I can take today. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and close this stream out. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank y'all for your participation. Thank you for your support. I do appreciate you, Kitty. I appreciate you for all the comments. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for everyone Amy, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming in and talking with us today. Thanks for hanging out with us. And even Reese Puffs, he keeps wanting to eat my dogs, but thank you for showing up. I appreciate you for your support. I know you're joking, but thank you for stopping in. And anyways, so guys, y'all have a wonderful day, and I will catch you on the next stream, or tomorrow after his surgery. So, and I'll let you know whether or not we got some sperm from him and whether or not we got his stomach stapled. Either way, I'll let you guys know tomorrow. So thank y'all, my big dog lovers. I'll see you next time. Thanks, Kitty.